Hello, and welcome to Millies Ice Cream GLP-1 Research and Survey Final Presentation by Emily Brown, Jada Lee, myself, Chris Masseri, and Gabriella Parker. We will be going through the final research and survey design in this presentation. As a quick breakdown of the presentation, first we'll be discussing the GLP-1 research that we have conducted, the survey method and design, the project analysis breakdown, and the recommendations that we have for Millies moving forward. So first is GLP-1 research. First, we would like to talk about what is GLP-1. GLP-1 medications are increasingly used for weight loss and diabetes. These drugs reduce appetite cravings, and influence taste preferences. Millie's ice cream may see shifts in dessert demand as a result. So our research focus was who uses GLP-1, how they impact cravings, and how Millie's can adapt. So firstly, who is taking GLP-1 medication? Our findings showed that most GLP-1 users are white, middle-aged, and privately insured. However, usage is growing and diversifying. That's why inclusive product design and marketing will be crucial for Millies as this customer base expands. Now, how does GLP-1 work in the body? GLP-1 is a hormone that helps regulate appetite and digestion. These medications signal fullness earlier, reduce reward signals from sweets, and slow gastric emptying, leading to major shifts in food preferences and consumption behavior, particularly around desserts. So, how GLP-1 affects appetite and taste for desserts. GLP-1 users report eating smaller portions, avoiding sweets, and experiencing less pleasure from high-fat, high-sugar foods. But this doesn't eliminate the desire for dessert. It just changes what people are looking for: lighter, more intentional indulgences. So the protein intake need for GLP-1 users. So protein intake, often due to reduced appetite, leads to potential muscle loss. This creates an opportunity for Millies to introduce high protein using foods like Greek yogurt and whey protein, functional and appealing to health-minded consumers. So by increasing their protein, then they will also have higher muscle mass, and that is something that users experience loss of as a result of taking GLP-1 medications. Now, calcium intake needs for GLP-1 users. Calcium differences are a concern, particularly for women. GLP-1 users may not eat enough calcium-rich foods. Millies can introduce dairy-based or fortified frozen treats that serve both indulgence and nutritional support for a strong market differentiator. So again, due to the fact of having a lower appetite may also show the less intake of calcium, which can lead to bone health and nerve and muscle functions being depreciated. So now going on to our survey method and design. So our survey method and design, we utilize SurveyMonkey. The reasonings behind this is because it meets Millie's needs, it's a familiar tool for everybody, and it's easy to use. So the survey design was multiple choice on a demographic usage, rating scale, which is cravings and appetite changes, and some open-ended feedback at the end of the survey. This helps Millies capture both quantitative and qualitative insights. Now I have a quick demo that I'd like to show to kind of show what we've done with the survey so far. Now that we are in the SurveyMonkey survey that we have developed with Millies, we can go over the survey and how it is kind of set up. However, right now we cannot do all of the features such as the skip links because there is not a subscription set up with this survey yet. And we directed Millies not to do a subscription until they are ready to roll out the survey. So just kind of going through this, one of the first things that Millies wanted to recognize was zip codes for their clients. So after that, we kind of get into the gender and then the age of the client. There's a large age range because Millies kind of wants to know the demographic of who their customers are in general. So next, we kind of see, are you taking a GLP-1 medication? So this right here is where the skip logic would take place. Yes, currently taking would take you to one page. No, but have taken previously will take you to another. No, have never taken will then take you to another page, basically where it will just end off the survey because the information does not pertain to them. So the wording will be a little bit different depending on if you've taken it previously or if you are currently taking it. So we'll just kind of go through this. This will be set up for if you are currently taking it. So how long have you been taking the medication? Before starting the medication, how often did you drink? Since starting the medication, how often do you drink alcohol? Basic questions, kind of the gauge and see like the nutritional side of GLP-1. So again, now we're kind of getting into the sweet treats and desserts. This kind of gauges Millies to see like the appetite before and after of their thoughts of indulgence, more or less. So now we're kind of getting into more of the specific ice cream questions. Again, just kind of going through before and after taking the medication. And then kind of more specifics on anything that you're trying to avoid or been advised to avoid. Now this kind of gets into more of the nutritional items such as the protein and calcium intake that we have discussed in our research. And again, kind of talking about trying to gauge the importance of desserts now that they're on a GLP-1 medication. And then finally, the likelihood of starting the medication within the next 6 months. So that kind of goes over our whole entire survey that we've designed. And once the subscription is put in place, then Millies will be able to do the skip link logic as we provided it for them. But for now, this is just kind of a basic overview of what the survey is as of right now. So with that quick overview, that kind of shows what we've done so far. There's also a link at the bottom here as well too. So moving on to our survey feedback, we tested the survey on 2 people, both that use GLP-1 medications. And as we can see here, one of our people that we tested this on had recommended adding in questions regarding exercise. Now, this is something that we have talked about in our meetings with Millies as well as internally. We weren't exactly sure if this would be useful or not. However, someone already mentioning it in the small test group might be something to kind of go back and think about. So they mentioned that their doctor recommends more exercise while taking this medication. And then the second person that we tested it on, they wanted to mention that they feel the survey feels very inclusive and they appreciate the interest. And I have a quote from them. It is nice to see genuine interest in the medication and that Millies is looking for a way to help me still meet my nutritional needs while still enjoying ice cream. So thought that was kind of nice to add in there as we kind of continue on with the survey design and the feedback that we have gotten so far. So now on to the project analysis. As you can see here, we have the timeline and tracking Gantt chart. So this shows the full timeline from April 14th to May 9th. This confirms that all tasks were completed on time and some ahead of schedule. The ones that were completed ahead of schedule is the final presentation, what's being given right now, as well as the final report too. So next we have the work overview summary. So the total logged hours was 298 hours, roughly about 299 hours. The highest effort was during the survey design phase, and there was not a scope creep or delays in the project, so nothing impacted the total work effort at all, even with the added in research elements. Now we have the cost graph. The total cost of the project was $7,469.24. GLP-1 research was slightly over budget by $207.27. The survey design was over about $2,600 because of the added complexity and user testing, and the presentation cost nearly tripled due to design formatting and rehearsal time, which directly improved the quality of the final product, however, did add a lot of extra time and need. Now moving on to the recommendations. We have 2 slides kind of regarding the recommendations. So we suggest launching feedback-based products development, continuously using customer input to guide innovation, high protein or calcium-focused dessert line, which would align perfectly with the current GLP-1 users' needs and allow Millies to lead in health-centered indulgence. So that's kind of the overview of our recommendations. Here you can see some of the recommendations such as targeting GLP-1 users with health-conscious dessert options, addressing disparities in access and broaden inclusivity, stay flexible to shifting customer preferences, offer small, nutrient-dense, high-quality treats, focus on flavor, satisfaction, and clean ingredients, promote wellness-oriented branding and dessert options, align with health-conscious trends such as smaller and higher protein and higher calcium-rich desserts. And as I mentioned, kind of continuing on, maintain inclusivity in the market and product development, use ongoing customer feedback to guide product innovation, stay ahead by tracking health trends like GLP-1 use, push the survey out to consumers to gain real feedback, utilize feedback potentially market products such as high protein ice cream and high calcium ice cream, potentially develop high protein ice cream line, and potentially develop a higher calcium ice cream. So, in conclusion, GLP-1 users is reshaping food behavior not just among individuals but across society. Millies is well positioned to offer products that meet new expectations without sacrificing their identity, creating desserts that are both enjoyable and supportive of wellness goals. So, kind of going back on all of our research there, two of the biggest things that I think we can mention is the increased need for protein and calcium intake, as that is something that is kind of lacking due to the fact of GLP-1 making a consumer feel more full. So that is our recommendations, and that is our final analysis and report. As you can see here as well, we have our references. Thank you.